there are a few matters to consider here. I remember in 2014, Randy Abbey was handed a job to handle the Black Princesses or so, and he decided to reject that one. He put an official statement indicating that the Ghana Football Association then did not consult him in appointing him with that job. Today, Randy Abbey is part of the Executive Council, yes, and we've had 2 of such mistakes already. You remember that George Addo, also a presidential aspirant in the 2019 Ghana Football Association elections, after he was nominated to represent, I think, Zone 3 of a Division 1, it looked like the FA had come up with information or another announcement that he had been given a job on the Division 1 board, and he came back and said that, no, I've not agreed to do anything, I'm not going to do it. And the latest we had was Wilfred Osei, Kweku Palmer's appointment on the Ad-hoc Committee. Let's just have a look at it on the Ghana Football Association, because first I need to establish that the Ghana Football Association did officially announce that there was a new Ad-hoc Committee to manage matters, and as part of talking about the members of the Ad-hoc Committee did indicate that Wilfred Osei, Kweku Palmer was part of it. Then later we heard from Wilfred Osei, Kweku Palmer's team that they have not quite accepted the job, and so they are outrightly rejecting it. So that's an interesting turn. Coach, because Papa spoke to Henry Asante on his sports, I mean, Henry Asante, the communications director of the Ghana Football Association, on his sports, I think Wontumi Sports, is it Nationwide Sports? Yes, that was on Thursday, Papa. Tell me what Henry's reaction was to all of this. It will be important to start from there. Papa, tell us, what did Henry have to say when you posed the question to him?
In a nutshell, George, what Henry said was that he appreciates the situation he finds himself in, that it's a difficult situation because he's so close to Wilfred Osei, Kweku Palmer. He literally calls him his dad, and then he's working for the FA now. Now, the reality of the discussion we had was that everybody at the FA is surprised. They are so shocked and surprised at how there has been a turnaround, because according to him, the General Secretary called Wilfred Osei, Kweku Palmer and told him that this is what they were doing, and mentioned the other members of the committee to him. After that, a WhatsApp group was created, and he was put on a group. And then him, Delali Sinaya, and Mr. Frederick Moore were told that they are members of the committee. Their appointment letters would be sent to them through email, and indeed they were sent, soft copies. And that at their first meeting, they would give them the hard copies. And when they were dealing with him, they dealt with him directly through the General Secretary, and there was nothing like his. He has decided not to do it again. He would rather let his PR come out and say those things. So, according to the FA, they are shocked. They are so shocked because they spoke to Palmer. He agreed before they made out the letter. But it's the direct opposite coming from Palmer's end.
Yeah. Nimley, you've also been in touch.
Yeah.
What have you been getting from the camp before we set all of this in motion?
I've spoken to both camps.
Yes, both
camps. To be honest with you on the matter. And when I heard the story, I think it was in the evening of that day when I heard the story on one of our sister sports station.
Yeah.
So immediately I called Palmer and I said, Chairman, I referred to him as Chairman, and I said, Chairman, this is what is being put out there. How far is it true? And the reason why I did that was because of the fact that I knew, or we all knew, that in 4 or 5 days' time,
it's going to be
a major decision is going to come, which could more or less change the face of Ghana football or get whatever is happening now to continue. So when I called him, the interest of that call was to find out from him whether, one, he was consulted, two, has he accepted
as an establishment? Okay.
So, in answering the first question, whether he was consulted, he said he was called by the General Secretary, and then the General Secretary spoke to him on the matter that this is what they want him to do for the FA over a period of time, and then all that. And then he said, okay, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'll need to consult some few people before I said yes or no. These were the words of Palmer.
Yeah.
So yes, he was informed, but the acceptance or the confirmation to say that yes, I'm going to do the job, he did not confirm to the FA.
All right.
And he was surprised to have heard that all of a sudden the news was out there that he's accepted to do the job.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, then it means that some form of communication gap has been created. So what are you going to do? But when I called the other party,
they're like, no, he showed.
They said, oh, yes, we called him. Yes, we spoke about it. And from the impression he gave us, it's like he would do the job. And I said, is it an impression or
he was
yes, I'm going to do the job? Because these are two very
things, yes.
They are
different things.
You have a thin line, the impression he gave, or I'm going to do the job, are two different things. So I don't know, but if you look at what is happening back for, I think if I'm the FA, I will not be looking at such a person at this very crucial moment.
We'll come there.
Giving him
we'll come there
position.
Because there are issues to sort out, even if the Ghana Football Association wanted to appoint Wilfred Osei Kweku Osei, clearly because of the disqualification and everything, and the fact that they say he lacks integrity and all of that's in there. Now, this is where we draw the line. Let me have the Ghana Football Association statement on the screen, just to confirm to you that indeed on the Ghana Football Association website, officially, it was announced that the ESCO had appointed an ad hoc compensation committee that included Wilfred Osei Kweku Osei. So this went out. And from all we are gathering, it appears that the Palmer camp had not really settled on whether they were going to do the job or not.
Because I remember he said, look, coach, for now it's a 50-50.
Yes.
I could do it.
Or I couldn't do it.
Yes.
All right. So that is just a confirmation and why this becomes a subject to try and interrogate because of what happened with the George Addo situation.
Exactly.
If you can give me, if we can find George Addo's statement, what he put out after the so-called appointment, and he rejected that, we would get that for you. If we get that, do we have it? Okay, so if we get that, that's fine. Let's have a look at Ebo's statement. Ebo Apia works with the...
Yeah, he's more like the spokesperson.
Yes. And I heard the election say he was the strategist.
Yes.
Contimelo stratagem. He was a strategist. Okay. So that he says that Mr. Osei Palmer has declined from the committee due to several consultations which cannot be disclosed, but regards this as personal reasons. This was an interview he granted with Kumasi FM. So let me come to you, Papa, now. Papa, then, what was the problem then? I mean, at this point, it looks like there was some sort of, should I say, negotiations?
Yeah, communication.
To a certain level, communication to a certain level. He was contacted to a certain level. Does it appear that this information came out without his firm acceptance? And if that happened, what is wrong here? Is it some politics at play? Or really, we can cut the slack and give the FA a benefit of the doubt here?
No, George, there is a difficulty. And the difficulty stems from just one thing, the channels of communication. The biggest problem coming out of communication for Kev has been driven by people closer to him who are not in official capacities at the FA. And then this one is coming from the official source of the FA.
Yes.
Now, I was so happy when Coach Nimley said impressions shouldn't draw conclusions.
Exactly.
When impressions draw conclusions out of you, you would end up faltering. So you see, just like the George Addo one, people were quick to make a political capital out of it. And that drew up all these things. He created the impression that, okay, let me consult people first. So he didn't decline. Neither did he accept. He only asked for more time. Next thing we know, it is on that he has accepted the job. So, George, we both know how these things play out. Before you publish an official notice on acceptance, you must have received a confirmation letter. That's why even with appointment letters, we are told that confirm that you really accept the appointment.
Yeah.
Until that is done, you are rushing things. And it could come back to bite you like this one. And in all honesty, I respect the capacity of Wilfred Osei Kweku Osei. This is somebody who has taught us St. Augustine's. He is literally literate in finance. So if he is coming up to work on ad-hoc compensation, look, he merits it. It's meritorious. Palmer is not coming there because he's a friend of the FA. He is being invited or being appointed because he is competent, and that's his field. But you look at the common sense rationale. Why would you involve him in such a committee at this point in time? We know the executive council members have been taking allowances, hefty ones, I must say. People working at the FA are being paid. So this thing could have been delayed for a week or two. We get the decision out.
That's all.
And then you appoint him. It saves you the political crisis. This thing could have been delayed easily, a week or two. The decision comes, the unnecessary bickering and the sheer quest to capitalize on some of these gains as political gains. That's causing all this. The communication has always been wrong. And the first case you cited, look, I was part of it, so I knew what happened.
Yeah.
I was then, George Addo called me that I have this write-up for Division 1 class. Can you read through for me? And I said, yes. I did all the editing, did the few things I could do. And then I sent it back to him. And then he said, okay, I'm putting it on our Division 1 platform. So the process to even discuss statutes was initiated by him, George Addo, and a few people on the Division 1 platform. Next thing you know, it is rather the FA that has appointed him onto something of that sort. It makes it difficult. It makes it difficult all the time. And I just hope this is going to be the last time we do this. And I like what Chris said. He's not fit to be FA president.
That's the next thing.
But he is fit to be here.
I mean, Coach, that's what I'm bringing you to. That why should he even come up in the conversation? Because the man has been tainted at the moment, and there's been in quotation marks
Integrity
issues. Ethics.
Look,
So why would the FA sit down and even come up with that? So it begs the question: what could be the brain behind the whole plot?
I don't know whether it more or less is a setup to get him to look a bit bad to the football people. That look, because of his case, even we are offering him a job to do. But at the end of the day, this young man has been told in the face that he lacks integrity.
Yeah.
That when it comes to issues of morals and ethics,
It's poor.
when it comes to sport, it's not there. It's very poor. And the man has gone as far as the highest decision-making body to clear his name on such matter.
$48,000.
He's paid close to $48,000 just to
Get the case.
remove that sort of dent or debt on his name. You ask yourself, with about 5 days to that decision being made, what did the FA seek to achieve in doing what they did? Look at the people on the ESCO. Ask yourself, like we were talking about last week on this Macron issue. Was this discussed at that level? Or maybe is the president, general secretary sort of discussion and then they put it out there? Because it is shocking to me that if such a thing is put out there with Dr. Randy Abbey, somebody whom you have also just given
an experience in 2014.
He has an experience in
2014.
Dr. Randy Abbey, the vice president. Look at the George Addo Jnr. Look at all these people there. I find it very difficult to see the rationale in all of these people appointing or accepting that Palmer should be part of this and that this current environment. It doesn't make sense to me. So at the end of the day, what were they seeking to achieve? Maybe they'll be the best people to come out and explain to all of us.
I'll tell you
exactly what they were seeking to get out of this. Because in 4 days' time, in fact, today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, by 9 a.m. in the morning, we have a result. So if the result comes, and indeed, CAS confirmed that, yes, the man lacks integrity. Yes, he is not of good morals. Yes, he lacks the ethics and whatever there is that should get somebody to hold such dignified position in football. What would you have done as an FA? If it comes and the man's relief are all granted, what becomes of you, the FA? So I don't get it.
You see, Papa, this is the problem right now. It's easy to give the FA the benefit of the doubt, but when it's repeated that information that turns out to be false seems calculated all the line, then you begin to get a lot worried. So where is the gap? Where's the gap? I don't know if you have spoken to a few executive council members. Where is the gap? Is this a wholesale decision that has come from a meeting from the executive council, really? or this is a decision that someone thought it was necessary to put out and has put out, because he's the decision is actually tainting the members of the Executive Council right now. Because I did cite that Randy Abbey had gone through such a situation in 2014, and I'll be surprised if he was on the committee that agreed to do this. Clearly, Papa, so where are the gaps?
See, George. George, the big problem here is that you are giving me so much perspective that hitherto I have not even considered. And it's shocking. You look, Randy Abbey was there, started similar. He's there now. As soon as this thing is mentioned to him, he will quickly recollect that memory.
Yes.
And go like, oh no, this thing happened to me, so let's be careful. So you consider all things, and it appears it is something driven by the president and the general secretary.
That's it.
Because the general secretary, yes, it is his job. He led the consultations. But if this thing has been discussed at that level, I honestly believe there would have been questions raised. Now look, Palmer is our person, but you know the situation we are in with him. I genuinely don't think somebody who has no integrity, according to this same FA, would be appointed onto a committee.
That seeks to deal with money. Well,
the FA is too vibrant. The people there are too knowledgeable to be falling for. So honestly, there's a disconnect. And based on what has been presented to me this month, this was driven by the president and the general secretary. And let me tell you a story. When they were appointing the general secretary, there were people in the executive council who raised concerns that, look, Prosper is our person.
okay, well,
He asked him.
okay. I think Papa's line is here. What? I think we've got Ayala joining us as well. Owusu Bempah, Ayala, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, bro.
Good. It's
In
good to...
this case,
Yes.
the
Okay.
also went ahead to give the judgment, and we ended up saying for the sake of Kupam, and the FA was stripped bare and naked at us.
All right. Papa, thank you. Let me come to Ayala on the line now. Ayala, thank you very much.
This was driven by them. Driven by them.
Okay. Right. Papa, thank you. Let's talk to Ayala now on this matter. Ayala, first, what was your reaction to seeing that the Ghana Football Association would even consider Wilfred Osei Kweku Osei, knowing that he had issues with integrity per his disqualification in the presidential, in the run-up to the presidential election 2019? How surprised were you, just to even realize that the FA were thinking about him?
It came to me as interesting though, and with the few investigations I did, the mentioning of Palmer on that monument committee was actually raised at the meeting by the president of the FA. It was Kurt Okreku who raised the issue about adding Palmer to that committee. The other executive council members had their reservations.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, during the discussion, Kurt made it clear why he thinks Palmer should be on it. And Kurt looked at it based on the competence and the knowledge of Palmer over the years, and him being a finance person, alongside Frederick Moore and Mr. Delali Senaya. Now, let me continue to share what I know per my investigations before I come to answer your question.
That's right.
What happened was, after the meeting was done and they concluded on who should be on that committee, it was incumbent on the president to call these members to initially inform them about the decision taken by the Executive Council to invite these men on a committee that will look into the emoluments of the Executive Council prior to the approval of Congress. Now, very, very interestingly, when Kurt called Palmer, and told him about the news, Palmer never had any reservations according to my investigations. He said, okay, if you think I'm competent to be on it, I'm ready and I'll serve the FA. After Kurtz dropped his call, it was natural that Kurtz would then inform the General Secretary that, look, I've had initial calls with these people, especially Palmer. So you can follow it up since you are the one who is going to give them the appointment letter and the modalities of the work they are going to do. Now, General Secretary Prosper Harrison called Palmer and had an initial talk with him about even making Palmer the chairman of the Monument Committee. There came the issue where Palmer told Prosper Harrison that, look, in terms of finance, Mr. Frederick Moore is my senior. So I will appreciate that once he is part of the committee, you make him the chairman of the committee. So Prosper Harrison Addo accepted that, okay, if you have accepted to be on a committee, but realize, just as in law, that Frederick Moore is your senior, then we'll go ahead and make him the chairman of the committee. Then proceeded to form a WhatsApp group as the general secretary for those other 3 members and put them on. And they exchange initial pleasantries and modalities as to how they are going to go about their job. Only for this back and forth thing to happen in the media again about him accepting or not accepting. But about the issue you are raising, whether indeed the Executive Council considered the situation that Palmer was in, vis-a-vis the issues about his integrity and all that. Now, George, let's get back to the main letter written to Palmer in his disqualification during the vetting committee. And I remember very, very well the wording of the elections committee to Palmer was that his application was not like they didn't
successful.
And to borrow the words of lawyers, they are quite choosy with their words. There is nowhere in Palmer's disqualification letter that says you don't have integrity or anything. Yes, I know it's an integrity test that he failed.
Of course.
But they carefully wrote that it was his application that wasn't successful. And that was the worst of the vetting committee, that your application was not successful. Now, yes, we can go right within what really happened and say, okay, did Palmer fail in those questions that he was asked, whether he has appeared before any judicial body of the FA, CAF, or FIFA? And he said no, because according to Palmer, that indemnity comments and he appearing before the ethics committee didn't amount to appearing before any judicial body of the Ghana Football Association or CAF or CAF. So if it's like applying for a visa and you go for interview or you go for your results and they say your application wasn't successful, it will not really mean whether you have issues with integrity or something.
Yeah, but Ayala, Ayala, just a point there. You realize that in the heat up of this case, with the back and forth with the Court of Arbitration for Sports and his reaction to the Ghana Football Association Ethics Committee when it all started, Palmer is really on a roll to say that I'm a clean man. That's clear. So that's in the background. That's why we are just confused. And knowing that Randy Abbey himself had been involved, that's why we are confused. But I think you made an important point that this is coming from the president. And to a large extent, some executive council members are not comfortable with that.
They weren't initially.
Yes.
And I think their posture was because of the FA politicking and what has been happening recently. But the point is that, are we able to use anything without the outcome of the car situation against Palmer and say we are nailing him for what the vetting committee decision on him? Are we sure that we are safe to say he is not competent to do anything at the FA?
That's granted. Ayala, that's granted.
Until probably he's clear.
Yes, Ayala, that's granted. It was just 4 days to the verdict. Why couldn't you just wait and let this verdict pass and go on?
That is legitimate. But what if, by his experience in the past, And the bone of contention in terms of the job description of this emolument committee, Palmer is one of the finest people the FA could get to be on the committee. Why are we not looking at the competence of the man?
It's one, but they can also get his advice without putting on the committee.
And what he has been through over the past years in terms of his involvement in this executive council, emergency committee, the FA drawing their budget, financial statement, knowing he's a true football person.
Good.
And with that background, he could have come. And again, we shouldn't forget, in making these final decisions, especially about a monument, especially when there have been issues that have been raised from the other side of the political desk, about the FA paying themselves what was agreed previously. I think even for political reasons, you may want, in quotes, your enemy to decide your monument, so that the issue of concept, the issue of perception about whether you are so interested in giving yourself more money.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yes.
Our opponents propose what we are supposed to get.
And we are talking.
Will you go back there and criticize it?
Good. Ayala, hold on. Ayala, hold on. Ayala, hold on. Yes, Ayala, hold on. Coach, what's your reaction? Your response?
Just want to add a bit to what he has said.
Ayala,
Look, at the end of the day, you may want to play with words in his application field and all that. That is not the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is the man is. There are issues of integrity here. Because if it's about Palmer's application, we know what went into the application at the vetting, at the normalization vetting committee and all that. Two, the competence of Palmer is not in doubt. And I'm not saying that, I'm not sure that Palmer is now rejecting this position because he's not competent for it.
No.
That is not why he's rejecting the position now. He's rejecting the position because per his own needs or what he really wants to do for the FA, it's not that ad hoc committee. This is somebody who wanted to be the president of the Ghana Football Association. And because of ABC, which we all know, he said you cannot go and occupy that position. And he's fighting the case in the highest court of football or of sports. So common sense will now tell you that, look, the timing is wrong. Why couldn't the FA wait for this Tuesday to pass all of us by so that they can now come out and say that is the issue? Now Palmer going to and like what I said again, it's like he's spoken to one side. Me, I spoke to the FA people. I've spoke to Palmer. What I gathered from Palmer was that yes, he was spoken to.
It was on the WhatsApp group.
But the confirmation never came that he would do. And even like
Papa was saying,
if you need me to do a job for you, you wait. When you give me now an offer, I will come back and say, I have accepted the offer. Before you now make it public to everybody that I have such a person on board. Okay, the appointment letter have all been sent. Couldn't the FA
wait for
just for the man to say, okay, I accept whatever you have given me.
So that when he comes and say that I'm not part, you show that
you should be careful in managing communication. It's one of the biggest
big portfolio you say
of this FA as we speak now.
Papa it is the Ghana Football Association, and so even if people are on your WhatsApp group or anything, and the Football Association must be also aware that in as much as people blame them to be politicking, your opposition could also be politicking. So you have to make sure that you are on a clean page. Why not accept or get the acceptance letters?
That yes, I'm going to do the job.
So that today, when Palmer says that I don't want to do the job, you say, no, Palmer, you sent us this letter.
Yes.
But today the trajectory is all we spoke, we agreed, we did this. We're in the WhatsApp group, we're in the Telegram group, and everywhere. Papa, is that what they need to do now? Due diligence, like we saw in the Macron thing.
I didn't want to do this, George, but let me do it. Let me quickly go into it. There was no executive council meeting to discuss this.
Okay.
The FA executive council did not meet anywhere.
That is the information I also have.
One day and then they woke up and Kurt had put this on the executive council WhatsApp group that this is what he intended to do. I didn't want to mention names, but look, George Addo Jnr raised vehement disagreements against this.
Yes.
Citing relevant reasons why it's not possible. He is a finance person.
Yes.
You know, you could be very competent for a job, but if you are not suitable, you will not be given the job.
Exactly.
So when you have been appointed, suitability is very, very important. Palmer is very competent. He takes the political box, your opponent deciding your remuneration, but he is not suitable for this job. Secondly,
as we speak,
that argument that Palmer was told that his application failed should be disregarded right away. His application was the documents he sent, the forms he got and submitted. Everything on that form was accepted. It wasn't disregarded.
That's it.
It was the aftermath of questioning at the vetting that got him out. And you all know the very reason why he was disqualified. So it unfortunately at this point, accepting that is not something we could do for my good brother Bempah. But the reality is that, like you said from the beginning, this is an operation driven by Kent and Prosper Harris-Addo. And the Executive Council didn't meet anywhere. He just put it on the WhatsApp platform. And I'm mentioning George Addo Jnr was the leader of the gang that were against this. Now look, he's not suitable. He's very qualified. He's competent.
But that is not an issue.
But he's not suitable.
Okay.
But for me, the reality is that I agree with Bempah from the other side of the coin. All this was geared towards a political gimmick. Let me get my opponent to come and tell me how much I'm getting so that they can't go out and say that I've taken money. It's politics. So he was politicking.
Okay.
And maybe Palmer too now has been very smart to outweigh.
Okay. I think the points have been made. The points have been made. I was coming to you, Ayala, again. And yes, there's the space because these days we can have WhatsApp. You can have WhatsApp. You can have a WhatsApp meeting. You can have.
Oh, you can have WhatsApp meetings. But
you don't necessarily need to meet in one room.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need to meet in one room. But at the end of the day, when it comes to there must be appointment, there must be acceptance before you go and publish.
So Ayala made the point in September. So Ayala, just your final point on this one.
Can I come here?
Yes, Ayala, your final point.
On this issue of official appointment letters.
Yes.
Now, what I gathered, when Prosper Harrison as the General Secretary called any member who was earmarked on this committee, what he informs you is that because we are not physically meeting, what I will do is that I will draft a soft copy of the appointment letter and send it to you. But at the maiden meeting, where we physically will meet, I will give you the hard copy. I don't know, to my other panelists and you,
yes,
does that pass as you being given an appointment letter, whether in soft copy or hard copy?
It passed,
and it is made on the principle that I have been instructed by the president, who is the leader of the political desk, that they've consulted you and you've given your go ahead, and now it has come to the secretariat, which I am the boss, to follow it up, talk to you about the dynamics, get you your appointment letter, so that we can start the work. Now, if you agree, after the conversation with the head of the secretariat, that, oh, yes, everything has been done, they've called me, I have accepted. So you can forward my soft copy of the appointment letter to me, put me on the WhatsApp platform, let's start to roll. You put me on the platform, I roll with other people like Frederick Moore and Delali Senaya. And you see, for Coach Nimley, yes, it's not one-sided story I'm presenting. I'm close to Palmer too.
Okay.
I got the other side of the story. But for us to settle this debate, whether it is true that they really got him on board, they started initial deliberations, we can raise in the coming days or even on this program, someone like Frederick Moore or Delali Senaya.
Ayala, the point is, I agree that the FA are right to say that we did this job.
Yeah, but
what we are saying is that there was a leeway, there was a space to explore, even from the Palmer side, if they decided to pull out, to say that we don't have a letter. We're just discussing. Now, and that's where we are. Let me activate my phone lines. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me activate my phone lines. We'll go through this one. My phone lines now, 0302-211-691 or 692. Guys, you can call in now. Tell me what you make of the FA communication so far, because we're looking at a number of issues. We've spoken about the Georgia Freeway one, there's the Palmer one, there's the Macron deal and all of that. And remember that one of the serious criteria for the Ghana Football Association, because it is Ket who has worked in, as a sports journalist and has worked in communication circles before, that's one of the reasons why when anything goes right, we're like, but this is Ket's administration and communication must be up there. So you can call us now, 0302-211-691-692. and tell us what you make of the situation. But Ayala, that's the point I was making.
Brilliant point from Ayala.
Brilliant point. Ayala,
what I'm saying is that
the leeway was
yes,
there too.
What I'm saying is that yes, the email will pass, but that is what 50% what passage. The FA General Secretary should come and tell me that, or should come and tell the people that's gonna
email was
after sending the email of the appointment letter, Palmer through email also accepted to do the job.
Ayala, let me come
that is what confirms it.
Ayala, let me come to you on that leeway. That
is the leeway there. That is the space where the people have
that people could take advantage of, you know, and make the FA look bad.
Yeah,
you know.
No, but let's even situate it in the operations of we media practitioners. For instance, George, you make Mubarak call me and say, "Oh, Ayala, will you be available for sports review on Saturday?" And through our exchange of messages, I say, "Oh, I'm on board."
Confirm.
And you go ahead and you do a graphic. Say, "Oh, we have Ayala, we have Coach Nimley, we have Atta Poku on the Saturday sports review." If I come out and say, "Oh, I only spoke to Mubarak,
can you speak to George?"
I was going to consult, and I saw my graphic out. So it means
I get you.
Joy FM, or Mubarak.
Ayala, we have a call on the line. Ayala, it's a good point. Wait, hold on.
The bone of contention is
that
if you take away the political tone out of this back and forth, I don't see where the FA communication got it wrong.
Okay,
because
hold on.
If the General Secretary informs the communication desk that we have done everything, and these people have accepted in principle, are forwarded a soft copy of the appointment letter to them. You can
wait, guys, hold on. Let me take my first call. All right. It's Coach Osman on the line. Coach Osman, good morning.
Hello, George. How are you doing?
Good. It's been a while. We'll be seeing you soon in the studio. Yes. What's your contribution to today's show? Yes.
Say again.
I was saying that we'll be seeing you soon. It's been a while, but let's hear your contribution to today's show.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see me soon. George, I just want to say good morning to your viewers and then your panelists.
Yes.
I'm thinking that they are doing a great job. But to me, I really would like to look at it as what's the future of Ghana football? Because really, if in actual fact, Palmer was not consulted, and then this really happened, that's in bad faith. And if again, on the other way around, if he was consulted and then he accepted and rejected, I strongly believe that's still another bad faith. But all in all, I want to strongly believe that, look, George, as a country, this is the time for us, having moved or having just moved from this local, how do you call it?
The issues,
having just moved
and all that.
Crisis. I strongly believe that, look, George, it's time that we call a spade, make sure that we do the right thing that we're supposed to do, irrespective of whoever is involved, without fear or favor. That's our future people are joking with. That's my future, that's your future, George. All
right. Good. Thank you very much, Coach Osman. We can still pick more of your calls, 03022116911692. Yeah, the purpose was really good one. Moses, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, George.
Yes, Moses, please speak up. Let me hear from you.
Okay, I'm calling from Aguna Shodo.
Okay, go ahead, Moses.
Yeah, all I want to say is, Mr. Kweku and his administration are not good when it comes to communication, even though they have a lot of communication guys on their desk. But sometimes the way they do their communication, I don't think is the best. So it's better they sit up and try to sort out things within their administration, else they will falter.
Okay. All right, that's Moses. 03022116911692. Kojo is on the line. Kojo, good morning. How are you doing, Kojo?
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I'm great. Let's hear from you, Kojo.
Yes, I've been listening to you guys. But you see, is it not that the football, aspect of our football is what's important and personalities? That with all their competence and what they can do for us to praise them one day, they should put aside personalities and stay focused on what we want to do to achieve success in our football. We have talent to help grow and put Ghana on our right place in football. it's personal. I've done this, didn't do it well, and I did the next thing. You're not part of me, and let's build our football legitimacy, right?
That's right.
I called JFM to contribute, meaning that I'm helping your program to succeed. I didn't have to work at JFM to call in. You know, we're all contributing to help the program sit up. So I think we should just put up away personalities and stay focused to the success of our football. That's what's important.
Good. Coach, thank you very much. But yes, just as you go off, you know that communication is a big part of every organization, and there's going to be a lot of communication to come, bonuses and all that. Who do I have on the line again? Yep. Do you have an alcohol on the line? Okay, good. Let's come back to the studio. There were just a few points. I think I'm going to push in just 2 minutes. Papa, you wanted to speak?
Yeah, George. My issue here is that look, the issue of me coming on the program,
yes,
is not same as this. And even that, if I try to attach this to that, George, you know what? The moment I tell you yes, I am available, and I see you tomorrow, I've agreed to be on the program. But in this case, the FA needed an acceptance from him, a documented one, before they could go on and publish that. They didn't get it.
No, the man is.
So it's not like somebody is holding the FA communications down. But to be sure that this person we are dealing with could give us a political headache, they should have gotten his acceptance letter. And that would have saved us all the trouble. So he saw the leeway and he exploited it so well.
Yes. Yes. Ernest is on the line. Ernest, good morning. How are you doing, Ernest?
I'm good.
Good. Let's hear from you, Ernest.
Yeah, George, let me say, I've been listening to your program, and let me give you a thumbs up. I know you guys are doing very well.
Thank you, Ernest.
But on this issue of, on this issue of Palmer rejection and all that, I say from this onset, when you started the program, I think you got something wrong. It wasn't this Kweku Osei, FA that denied Palmer the chance to contest for the FA presidency. It was
but it's still the FA. Like, problem is that it's still the FA. It doesn't need to be about who was the president or not. It's the FA.
No, but it seems like all your panelists are pointing fingers at Kweku Osei.
No, they are not. They are not. In fact, let me explain. Hold on. In fact, Ayala has made, and this is why I like this panel. It's a very balanced panel because Ayala has explored the FA angle. And remember, critically, we are not saying that the FA had made some mistakes in a corner, and those mistakes can give your opponents an opportunity to take advantage of. That's what we're saying. So Ayala has painted the picture from the FA.
Perfectly.
Papa and Chris are also doing this. So I think it's been balanced this morning. What do you think?
Yes. That is what you are saying. But let's not create the impression it was Kweku Osei administration that made Palmer not to contest the FA. It was the
all right, I get you. So this is the, let me just go through it just in 1 minute. The pile up of cases we are talking about, we had Macron deal communication problem all over the place. We are not talking, and we are not talking about Palmer, being accepted or not accepted. Yes, we are talking about Palmer's communication, whether he was part of this Ad-hoc committee by this administration. Yes. And George Addo
exactly. There's a trend being established. A trend that is not.
Guys, let me do this. 1 minute each. 1 minute each. I think we have made fantastic points all around. Ayala, 1 minute. Tell me what your closing remarks are.
Yeah, Atta made a point that yes, him accepting to be on the show and saying see you tomorrow is different from what we are talking about. Yes. And he made an excellent point. That yes, because of the situation politically with Palmer, he saw a new way and he took advantage of it. But my question is, was that leeway and he taking advantage of it in good faith or bad faith?
The politician doesn't really care. Ayala, you see, that's the thing. Yes, so the FA must make sure that they are covered at every point in time.
No. That is what I'm saying. It was an excellent point for Atta. Yeah. But my question out of it is that
whether it's a good faith or not.
Good faith
or not? Okay, yes, Ayala.
Or not.
All right.
And me asking that question is in the best interest of Ghana football.
Good. Exactly.
He's a member of the FA.
Exactly. Yes. But Ayala, in the interest of joining you, my time is up. So hold on. In the interest of joining you, my time is up. Papa, I think you've made your points on this one. I should say thank you very much, guys. Yeah. You'll have the rest on YouTube. And thank you very much, Coach Christopher Nimley, for joining me.
It's always a pleasure.
It's been fantastic having the three guys on. Have a minute, do I? Oh, then I have to say thank you to everybody. Can I hear from Coach? Final word.
No, he's okay.
Okay, coach, is your final word.
Okay, look, at the end of the day, they will have to learn from these things.
Yes.
It's becoming too many.
At least we are highlighting
And
it.
so you'll have to manage, because look, if you are dealing with certain people, we are all human beings.
Yeah.
And the FA is an institution.
Yeah.
And in such matters, institutions are always supposed to be seen to be very diligent and very spot on. When you give people the leeway, they will exploit it.